for the second time in our nation's history, the country's credit rating has been downgraded, and that is no good. Fitch ratings point to rising debt and a, quote, deterioration in standards of governance. Treasury now calling the cut arbitrary, but it could actually cost taxpayers. Mr. Wonderful is Kevin O'Leary. He's got a take on this now. Nice to see you, sir. Good morning to you. We were in the same spot 12 years ago. 2011 was the only other time. What do you make of it as the Biden administration pins a little bit of this blame, not a little bit, maybe a lot, on Donald Trump? Go figure.
Well, it's really about government and policy. There's no way to sugarcoat this at all. It's bad. And I'll tell you how you measure it's bad. Basically, when you downgrade the U.S. economy, which is what this downgrading is, you are losing a little faith in the U.S. dollar and the U.S. Treasury bill, because the default currency of the world, defined by every commodity priced by U.S. dollars, is the good faith of the U.S. government. And the whole world trusts it. Most sovereign funds keep the majority of their liquidity in U.S. dollars. That got hurt 24 hours ago, because now you start to ask yourself, well, where is this going? A downgrade from AAA to AA, does it go to single A? Now, if you're a sovereign wealth fund, you start to put that in your mind, and the bottom line for you and me is the cost of capital goes up. In other words, what it costs for us to borrow money to fund the government in deficit goes up. No sugarcoating that. Now, how does this actually affect the next 24 months? Well, let me explain. Think about the CHIPS Act and the Inflation Reduction Act. We're printing billions of dollars. Government claims it has merit. It's important to do this. But at the same time, that's just a lot of spending, and that increases the deficit. And that's why Finch did this. They downgraded it. And I wouldn't say it was the two bills that caused the camel's back to be broken, but it was enough for them to say, okay, I've seen enough. Now, for me and you, or anybody at a kitchen table in America, your car loan just went up from 5 to somewhere between 7 and 9%.
Really?
That's not going to help. So the cost of your loan and your borrowing and your mortgage going up, period.
Okay, so that's on the economic side of it. But on the political aspect of the Biden administration was defending itself, and they pointed repeatedly to January 6th. From a political standpoint, that leads to a lack of trust on behalf of those who are investing in the United States of America. Now, do you think that to be true?
I think that's a political statement, Shirley. I mean, really, this downgrade is about debt and the ability to pay it back. It looks beyond any one event. Doesn't matter. The more the government goes into deficit spending, the more rating agencies scrutinize the quality of that debt. And if you thought we got to the point of no return where it was impossible to pay this debt back, you'd rename the United States of America Venezuela.
Wow.
So that's what you got to start thinking about. It's that simple. We're nowhere near that yet. But, investors like me look at this every single day and say, what happened there? What happened in the last 24 hours? And how does that change my propensity to bet on the United States of America as a long-term good gamble where I put capital to work? And that lost a little bit last night on the downgrade.
Okay.
I keep pointing this out to people. How can you possibly spin this in a good light? There isn't one. There's no good news.
Yeah, because you got the so called white man ruling. But anyway, I want to say shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Rakakwadash. I'm going to give double honor to the elders, the apostles, the great millstone. Blessings and salutation to the hopeful elect, knows in his gospel, broad lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is just a quick lesson through the spirit. Titled BRICS block. Well, it says BRICS block proposed gold-backed currency could spell the end of the U.S. dollar. I know a brother did a video on it last week called 55 to 1. Okay, and there's no coincidence that we have this video. It says brother had uploaded this video as well. Babylon's reached the point of no return and will fall sooner than you think. Because you still have this devil trying to save face, basically saying, well, we're nowhere near Venezuela. Well, shit, you damn near close. And that's Esau always trying to save face to try to save his wicked ass kingdom. You know what I'm saying? But it's a done deal, man, okay? Because allegedly they having this summit with the BRICS nations August 22nd, which is next week. I think it's next week sometime. Yep, next week. And basically, they're coming up with the current, or they have a currency allegedly backed by gold that they want to propose to the world, doing this great reset to impose or to dethrone the U.S. dollar. Now I heard one video that the brother went into, that a guy was talking on it, that basically he stated that by November 1st they want to have this currency up and running. I don't know how true that is. I haven't seen any reference to that, but the fact that they're having a summit this month shows us that this dollar is out of here. Okay, and basically it's going to take $55 US to pretty much invest in this new BRICS currency backed by gold, which when that happens, all that money that's in circulation around the world is going to come back to the shores of Babylon, and you're going to have what they call a hyperinflation scenario. Okay, like right now we're under inflation. I believe it was like 9%. I think it went down slight a bit, but gas went up. You see, even though the price of eggs and goods is relatively still affordable to some degree, the fact that gas went up last week again, and this guy Biden promised not to raise taxes, but he did that. Okay, and not directly, but he did it through what they call inflation means or inflationary means. Because like when you look up inflation, it doesn't really give you a definitive definition to it, but it tells you straightforward that basically the it's not the value of goods that goes up, but the price of money goes down, meaning, or the commodity of money. You see what I'm saying? Money is being devalued. This is the reason why a can of black eyed peas will run you an extra $1 than what it did 15 years ago, because the money is being devalued. Like he just said, he said the borrowing power for the U.S. is pretty much non-existent. And we know that they're going to use this new means to bring in this digital RFID, you know what, which is really going to be the global currency of the world. Okay, the MOTB, you know, and behind this global collapse, you're going to have World War III. All right. So it says the BRICS bloc of developing nations wants to create a common currency backed by gold. It says that the organization pushed through with this could spell the end of the United States dollar, which the dollar is pretty much dead anyway. Okay, only thing that's keeping it afloat is the amount of people that's consuming in U.S. debt in the U.S. dollar. They're consuming, they're using the dollar. People going to work, people still getting paychecks, you're spending money. That's the only thing that's keeping this economy afloat. Like I was telling the brothers at the camp this weekend, I said, well, look, man, if everybody stopped going to work and Jake just hung it up, this place will literally collapse overnight. Okay, because they're basically pumping money into, it's like, think about it like a bathtub with a hole in it, right? You could continue to fill the bathtub up with water to keep it from fully flushing out. But what happens when you don't fill up no more water? It's just going to sink. It's going to run itself out. And that's pretty much what it is with the U.S. dollar. They're pumping trillions of dollars into an economy that don't work. Okay, gross domestic product is at an all-time low. You know what I'm saying? You're not gaining. You're gaining, what, probably 2%, if that, a year. And you're losing 34 to 35% on GDP. So it's not looking good. You're basically you're losing more than you're gaining. So all this consumer spending at the end of the day is just gonna come to a halt, because when the price of eggs becomes $200 a carton, a loaf of bread $150 a loaf, a bag of potato chips $85, steak $1,000, chicken $900 a pound, gas $50 a gallon. That's when people gonna really start to bug out. That's when all hell gonna break loose. You know what I'm saying? And this is when people are going to start to go batshit crazy, man. All right. But it says here, it says this is according to multiple experts who warned that the BRICS proposal to leverage the power of gold could end with these 5 nations beating the dollar. And allegedly, I'm hearing that one of the European or 2 European nations, I think Germany and another ally, is proposing to join BRICS, which is Revelation 17, basically when they should hate the whore. We have to wait and see. I have to look up more information on it, but I'm sure it's news circulating out there. But it says the investment banker and author Jim Rickard noted that as inflation and the devaluation continues to affect the U.S. dollar, the price of its new gold-backed BRICS currency will only keep rising. It said it is a way to destroy the dollar, and you don't need dollars, you don't need gold. You just need to be smart enough to anchor your currency to gold, said Rickard. And when dollar inflation starts to go up, your currency is going to be worth more because of how you pegged it, not to dollars, but how you pegged it to gold, because people want to convert over because it's more affordable. So if you are using whatever currency backed by gold, let's just say the euro, which we know that's dead. But let's just say if they use the euro, they trade in currency in euro, and they can get a loaf of bread for $1.98. People are gonna do that. But Esau Edom is gonna find a way to upset that, and he's gonna institute the MOTB. And that's one thing all these governments have in common. They want to micro C-hip everybody, and this global collapse will lead to just that. Okay? But it says here, the BRICS announced the gold-backed crypto US dollar would die. Trillions of US dollars rush home, which hyperinflation will commence from that. And it says inflation through the roof. We warned Arthur Robert Kowalski that this BRICS currency has a lot of implications that could absolutely crush the dollar. And come on with it, man. Like, I can't wait for this dollar to collapse, man. You know, come on with it. Come on with the MOTB. Because that just solidifies our way up out of this joint. You know? No more going to work for these devils, man. Ain't worried about the shit they got to do. It's a shit show. But it says if this happens, and it ain't no if, it's when it happens. It says it will be the biggest wealth transfer from one nation to another I think we've ever seen in the history of the world. And don't get it twisted, man. All the nations on board, they're on board with this. You know what I'm saying? They're on board with this. You know, and they're gonna use this to bring in an MOTB, like the scriptures say. But anyway, let's get a couple of precepts here, because we understand that Esau's whole system is based on usury. Like the scriptures say that the servant is servant to the borrower. I mean, the borrower is servant to the lender. You know, because technically we're all consumers, we're all borrowers. We all owe some type of debt. You know, it was speculated that the average American citizen, upon the day of birth, you're born $100-some thousand in debt. Okay, just the fact that it costs money to bring you in this world, you're in debt from that. Costs money to bury you, you're in debt. So the minute you come into the world, you're already in debt, man. You got a bill in your name. You see? But Exodus 22, and I'm gonna start at 25. It says, if thou lend money to any of my people that is poor by thee, thou shalt not be to him as a usurer, neither should thou lay upon him usury, man. Okay, and usury is another way of saying taxing. You know, like they had a thing called no taxation without representation. You know, but ultimately, man, everything has a tax on it. Like inflation, that's a tax. Like Biden said, oh, I'm not going to raise taxes on you people. You did it, motherfucker, in the form of inflation. And go ahead, keep raising the prices, man. So everybody can bug out. Because now they're talking about eviction rates before the end of the year is going to be through the roof. Especially in Times Square in New York. Cali, evictions is like crazy. Chicago, all them black women that was dependent on the system, welfare, they getting evicted, man. Child support, that shit is getting ready to end. Call lawyer Yahweh Shemi Habashai, man. All right. So going back here, reading a little bit more, it says gold prices surge as markets show excitement for gold-backed BRICS currency. All right, and we know that gold is the real currency of the world, gold and silver. Okay, because it's actually a monument, not a monument, Slovakia. It's actually a measurement. Okay, you can measure the amount of gold or silver you have. That's your currency. Not like this fiat talisman we have known as the dollar, which isn't being backed by anything. I believe the dollar was taken off this gold standard back in '71 during the Nixon administration. When the dollar was taken off the gold standard, and it was done. They did that on purpose because they wanted to hyperinflate the economy so they can be justified on bringing in this one world government. Okay, this has been since the beginning. This wasn't just something they conjured up 10 years ago. They was talking about this since when they established the Federal Reserve. You see? Damn, it feels good outside, man. Beautiful. But it says the announcement from BRICS that plans to introduce a new gold-backed currency fueled euphoria in the gold market, causing gold prices to surge. But days after the announcement, gold prices posted a fresh 7-month high of $1,980 per ounce on July 19th. But gold prices then have been stabilized at approximately $1,950 per ounce. This shows that the impact of the announcement of the new gold-backed currency is fading. Because for the longest, gold was like averaged at like $1,600, $1,700 or $1,800 an ounce, with silver is being pretty much $25 an ounce, $30 an ounce, which that's gonna go up. You know, so brothers got hold of silver, man, as it is good, because eventually it's gonna be worth something. You know, a silver dollar worth what, $25 an ounce? Hey, eventually it's gonna all go up. You know, you have some type of residual income from that. But overall, this whole system is coming to abrupt halt because Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is getting ready to dethrone Esau. Okay, and we've seen a similar situation when the time of famine, when Pharaoh had the dream or a nightmare about 7 years of plenty, 7 years of famine, which made the 7 years of plenty look like child's play. And when this dollar comes back to the American shores and all this consumerism is pretty much wiped out, that's when you're going to start seeing major job losses. Inflation is going to go up at an all-time high. You know what I'm saying? Fuck 9%. We talking about 34. We talking about 300%. You want a stick of butter from Aldi, $500 for a stick of butter. You see? And it's going to get that real out here. And I may be exaggerating that a little bit, but regardless, it's not going to be affordable. It's not going to be like anything we've seen before. And the supermarkets are going to close down. You know what I'm saying? And the government going to have to be deployed to the streets, the military, to ration off food, because that's another way of controlling people. Okay? When you control the food and the water and the resources, you control the people. Okay? So this is the book of Genesis 47, and I'm going to start at verses 13. It says, and there was no bread in the land of Egypt, for the famine is very sore. Why? Because the money system collapsed, such as what we're seeing now. Same thing during the Roman Empire. The money system collapsed, which led to hyperinflation, to the point that the denarius, which was the currency, it wasn't worth anything. And it says here, very sore, so that the land of Egypt and all the land of Canaan fainted by famine, and America is gonna faint by famine, pestilence. They're talking about new variants on the rise here. Now we got to go ahead and get 3 more Boost mobile phones. Okay, and it says, and Joseph gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for the corn which they bought, and Joseph brought the money into Pharaoh's house. And when the money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, give us bread, for why should we die in thy presence? For the money faileth. See, so they had to go back into, it was like a government system set up. Okay, with Joseph being one of the top men over that province at the time, because he found favor with Pharaoh and with Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. And then it resulted to bartering, to the point that women, children, they're going to be sold for a little bit of nothing. Hey, people going to be selling their sons and their daughters and their women for a loaf of bread in that day. Here, take my 2 daughters for this pack of salami. And you're going to sell the girls into some type of slavery, man, to be sex slaves. And that's going to happen in a big way. And those of you that don't do that, you're going to eat your kids, man. Okay? Like the black woman, we know how big her appetite is. She loves some goddamn Red Lobster. She loves some goddamn Golden Corral. All you can eat. You know what I'm saying? All you can eat Fridays, TGIFs, man. Buffalo Wild Wings. You black women finna get humbled real soon. And you going to eat your kids, man. For the one of all things. And that's the scriptures. That's in the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. And also that's in the book of Lamentations, I believe Lamentations, the 4th chapter, or the 2nd chapter, if I'm not mistaken. Say you assaulting your children for the want of bread. Cannibalism is coming back, man. Because you ain't gonna be able to go to Walmart and get your food like that, man. Your oatmeal, when you go to your Costco's and get your 15-pound bags of rice, your cinnamon, your oatmeal. That shit is getting ready to be done away with, man. And I can't wait. All right, because that's when the Lord is really gonna step up and deal with his elect. All right, and we're going to be taken care of. And it says here, and Joseph said, give your cattle, and I will give you for your cattle, if money fail. And when they bought their cattle, went to Joseph, and Joseph gave them bread in exchange for horses, and for the flocks, and for the cattle of herbs, for the asses, and they fed them with bread for all that year, because they had the food put up in the storehouse. But in order for them to get what they needed, they had to give up their livestock, which livestock, if they were smart, they would have held on to their livestock, because that's income, that's money. You know what I'm saying? Like with a farm operating properly, you can never go wrong with that. You see what I'm saying? But see, they didn't have any money to pay for the fine flour, the cinnamon, the honey, the oats and the corn in Egypt. They didn't have the money for that, so they had to give over their particular goods in order to have some type of survival rate. Okay, and it's going to be the same thing here in America. Here, man, for this vine of grapes, I give you my newborn baby, and you can eat them. It's going to be a dog-eat-dog world, man. Scriptures say the love for many shall wax cold. You gonna see in that day who really fuck with you and who didn't. Okay, it's all good and dandy now because everybody is in some type of form of comfort. But hey, man, when all hell break loose, You better believe that these people, man, they gonna turn on each other, man. All right. Let me go here. 1 Peter. Perilous times. My phone been tripping lately. 2 Timothy 3:1, it says, know this also, that in the last days perilous times shall come. Okay, perilous goes into evil, dark times. Like I said, people gonna be selling their kids for a loaf of bread, man. Men are gonna be selling their wives, man, for food, for a piece of cheese, man, and then roadkill. You know, like for whatever reason, man, and I gotta spray my balcony because these two little possums be coming on my balcony. It's like they be jumping off the roof or some shit. I be hearing some doo-doo, and they be fighting, and there be cats up here. I'm like, look, nigga, this ain't, y'all ain't getting on this ark. You know what I'm saying? But I guess they must, you know, possums, they're like, not carnivores, but they are marsupials. So at nighttime, they hunt because, you know, they're prey. Possums are very timid creatures. But see, I have a tree full of berries right in my backyard. So, you know, I figured that they try to get up there and eat the trees and the berries because they're looking for food. But see, people gonna be finding animals like that and killing them and eating them, man. Raw possum, roadkill, armadillos, man. Swelled deer that's been in the hot summer weather for 2-3 weeks, man. And that's the worst smell in the world. When a deer swells, man, from the heat, literally it can explode on you, man. People gonna be eating that shit. Dead carcasses. Cannibalism, and when you resort to cannibalism, you have a special demon on you, man. All right. It says, for men should be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection. And that's what it's going to be like, a dog-eat-dog world. Truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors. Take my wife. Hey, I just want a pack of cheese, man. Take my wife. I just want a case of water. You can have my wife. She's an adulterer anyway. Men gonna literally be giving their wife. They're gonna be killing their women, man. Because what you don't know is that the ball is getting ready to drop on you damn women. Because you have a lot of people that don't like. A lot of people was just waiting to get at these women, man. Lady did a survey or something. She was mentioning like the things men will do if they don't have repercussions behind fucking up women. She said the things men will do, and the biggest fear for a woman is the fact of a societal collapse. Because they know they're going to be targeted. They're going to be prey, or they're going to be prey because they're the weak. Women and children always are preyed on in a time of calamity because they're the weakest link. They're the weakest vessel. Okay, and they will put up the less resistance. You know, but it says false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of the Most High, man. Okay, and these are the times we're in. And when this daughter collapse, shit, it's gonna be murder she wrote, because these people ain't gonna see it coming. Especially Jake. Jake ain't gonna see it coming. You know, they're gonna run up in people's spots and they're gonna get their head blown off. Because Jake think everything is a damn joke, man. Okay. Last precept, Revelation 6:5. It says, and when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard the voice of the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and a measure of barley for a penny, and see that thou hurt not the oil and the wine, which the oil and the wine represents this truth, man. Because this truth is going to be scarcely available, but nonetheless, the elect is going to be the ones that's obtaining the truth and holding on to it. Because the scriptures say wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of thy times. But yeah, this dollar is getting ready to collapse, man. And that's it. And once the dollar collapses, you better believe that MOTB is literally instituted, literally there shortly thereafter, followed by World War III. Shortly thereafter. Like the scriptures say, behold, the third world coming quickly. Hey, if this dollar collapse by the end of this year, Lord's will, hey, they can be in a global world war by next year. And I just say that through the spirit. We don't know how it's going to go down precisely, but it's going to go down. All right. And with that, all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And with that, shalom and above. Shalom.